Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. On Shabbat there are less cars. You can hear more birds probably, hopefully. We should go down there if I find an easy way down. And we can walk along the shore. Let's try going down here, okay? It'll be good to be down near the lake. Just hold on there, okay? Sorry if you don't have the right shoes on. We'll get through this area here. There are a lot of plants growing on top of the rock. It's always better to have sticks walking through a place like this. With the gimbal, it's another story. Yeah, I just found a nice stick now. Look at this. It's incredibly light, but it's still very strong. And that'll be able to take some twigs out of my way. And now we have to figure out how to get through this maze. Do you think we should go over there or go through here? Let's try and go through here. So we're with Solomon today in his amazing beginnings. Such a promising young fella. And he's gone to pray to the Lord in a place called Gibeon, where there was special devotion to God and sacrifice. And the Lord told him that he could ask for whatever he wanted. And what's amazing is he asked for the capacity to listen. And the way the Lord responds is also amazing. He said he's delighted that he asked for that. To be able to ask for things that delight the Lord. He didn't ask for parties and wealth and pleasures without end. He asked for wisdom, for understanding heart. Actually, the original verb there is to listen, and it's translated in different translations as listening, and it's translated understanding, because if we don't listen, we can't understand. So they go hand in hand. This is a mighty rock, eh? This is my stick, and my stick is... it's actually taller than me, a few inches. So I'm going to put it up here so you can do your calculations and step back so you can see how big this rock is. It's kind of hard to see the stick, but you can still see it there, right? So now let's compare the height of the rock. So the stick is about 2 meters. So this is at least 6 meters. I'd say it's a good 6 meters, especially in the higher point there. So that's a pretty wonderful thing. There's a second stick now. Oh, it's also a good one. Wow. I can go to get covetous for sticks. Isn't this beautiful? Imagine if we could prompt and inspire kids. Everybody will have their own personal prayer life with God, for sure, and we can hope in that. But imagine parents and grandparents inspiring and suggesting to kids and teaching kids to pray for the ability to listen. Oops. Oh, that's okay now. And a little burr. So, imagine to teach kids that their greatest aspiration would be to be a person of peace. A person not just with the name of peace like Solomon, but to be a person of peace. Not just because there are no wars around, but precisely when there are lots of wars around, that I won't be taking sides in the fight. I'll be taking sides of the humanity in every person and reconciling. Imagine that. Imagine parents having that dream, that reflection of divine peace down here on earth. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That what's up there in the heavens will be here on earth. That we can have an earth populated with little children going to God. And it turns out this was a dream Solomon had. But then he goes to the temple to pray in Jerusalem. And sure enough, he's confirmed in his prayer and he brings sacrifice to God. And his prayer is heard to a great extent. Of course, the human being is we're a complex reality. And we change by the day, possibly. We change by the hour sometimes. And to be able to become people of peace, to dream of it first of all. To dream of it. You grandma, you mom, you dad, you older brother. Dream of being a person who teaches children to want to become people of peace. To want to become people of listening. Because maybe a lot of your children are going to be leaders. And everybody that's anywhere is a leader because each person is responsible for all the gifts we have from God. And we have a lot of gifts. And even if the person is actually not able to speak, like Moses, can't do public speaking, so his brother helps him out, he can become a great leader and have a great influence. We use the word influencer a lot today. Maybe we don't like the word leader, maybe we don't like the word influencer. But the fact is that our presence impacts that of others. It impacts that of others. What are you going to do about it? That's the reality. So we can impact them physically with a punch in the nose and give them a bloody nose, or we can impact their spirit to want to reconcile. We can show them the beauty of that. To have a listening ear, to really truly listen to what God wants and what it's in the hearts of the people, government, officials. Like a teacher is an incredible leader of a classroom, even if it's kindergarten or if it's a university doctoral program. A teacher has an extraordinary influence on the minds of people because in order to learn, people have to listen a little bit. And so the teacher is one there's when talking, a coach, or just a co-worker that maybe isn't all that smart and funny but just faithfully working, and then somebody asks for a word of advice about something, and that person has a lot to say because that person actually knows so much about life. And if we don't know about peace and wanting peace for others, we actually are very ignorant. Sorry for using that strong word. Don't want to offend anybody. Look at this rock here that's embedded or bursting through the limestone. So this is basalt or some type of, maybe it's like flint actually. So it's probably volcanic related, and it's coming out in the whole strip. I found another line of that here a few weeks ago. Delightful experience to walk along here. And we're walking along here, and Jesus, in the gospel today, there's a whole lot of people that they want to go to a quiet place to pray and to rest. But the people show up, and they're like sheep without a shepherd. And you look at all the people today, and look at this funny thing here. This is another rock that's stuck inside this rock. Isn't that amazing? So this is about this size, so just so you have an idea, a proportion. And it's like embedded in the rock. How did that happen? That's amazing. And it looks like natural rock. It's consistent with other rock that's all around. Fascinating. To become a people of peace. You know, we're complaining about all the wars in the world. The world is filled with wars. Even in the kitchens of so many families. If the divorce rate is so high, how many situations are very difficult that don't get divorced? So we're all dealing with conflict. And how do we learn to become people of peace? And Solomon, that's his name. He's a man of shalom, of peace. In fact, the Hebrew word is shlomo. And that's much closer to shalom. And so people ask people, how are you doing? And it's mashlom ha. And it would be like, how is your peace? P-E-A-C-E. Not how's your piece of cake. No, but you might be at war over a piece of cake that wasn't your liking, or that was too small compared to the others, or let you down in your expectations, and you lose your peace over a piece of cake. But imagine to become people of peace, and to train people of peace. But if we're all, there's one thing I notice a lot with a lot of families, they raise their kids to be very self-assertive, and there's a great benefit in not being complexed and not being easy to put down and all the rest of it, but to become a servant of the peace of others. And that requires a much greater maturity and an interior solidity and strength. Because sometimes it will require a little bit of sacrifice to have the patience to deal with people that are in conflict, especially in the family, especially at work, because we're not talking about, you know, the big wars going on with nuclear weapons and negotiations, and we might have a lot to say like that, like the fans on the sideline of a soccer game or a football game, and there's a Super Bowl coming up, and people will have a lot of judgment to say about the players, but go out there and play the ball yourself. We judge a lot about the peace situation. Let's go out there and do it ourselves. People, I think we leave that like that for today. I encourage you to really ponder this. Look at this big piece again, same kind of rock. It's a huge piece. And that'll be underwater most of the time we were getting to see it because the lake is still so low. Isn't this a beautiful morning? So check out the gospel there and see that Jesus is training a bunch of people to become peacemakers, to bring peace to people, to bring reconciliation, to throw out the demons of revenge and rancor and complaint and the demons of conflict and the demons of violence. We need to have a new generation of leaders who choose to have peace, not to be training kids to kill each other. What an incredible program that is. What an awful program that is. Let's be training people to build each other up. And let's win all the people that are in that mentality of destruction, because if we don't, killing them isn't the solution. That's just making more generations of haters. Hey, look at all these birds. Ooh, a whole train of them. I think I'm going to turn off fast here so I can bring them onto Instagram. People, God bless you. See you later, alligators. I think we leave it like that, people. God bless you. Have a beautiful day today. Be a peacemaker. Think about it. Dream about it. Write a note about it. Contact somebody where a little peace is needed.